Good morning. It is day 3 in Finland, or I guess I should say good afternoon, considering the fact it is 12:07 in the afternoon, and I just woke up roughly around half an hour ago, considering I didn't go to bed until about 2 in the morning. Swear to God, being in Finland, considering the fact that it doesn't get dark until like way later, my circadian rhythm and my synchronicity with my sleeping is getting so messed up. It's annoying. But more or less, what today we're doing is just going back to Noah's University, looking around and going to a radio broadcast, and then trying to get myself more patches so I can sew onto my jacket, which I did yesterday, which I thought is pretty good for my first attempt at sewing. If you're curious of what that says, in Finnish it translates to I don't speak Finnish. So pretty accurate for me whatsoever. So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the day and whatnot going through that. So yeah, say hi. What's up? Well,
So basically what's happening right now is that we're in one of the lecture halls on campus at Tampere University where we're going to be participating in Jäynä culture, which is student culture amongst Finnish engineers and technician students for their masters. Jäynä is a playful, creative prank, but it's not just any prank. A good Jäynä is clever, surprising, harmless, and often requires a lot of planning and teamwork. The goal isn't to harm or humiliate anybody, but to make people laugh, think, or be amazed. Think of it like an engineering student's version of a practical joke, but usually more complicated and imaginative. It might involve, say, secretly building a fake bus stop overnight, installing a statue where there wasn't one before, or creating some fun but believable situations that catch people off guard. Doing Jäynä is a beloved tradition amongst takkaris, and especially around specific times like Wappu, which is a massive spring festival. Some Jäynäs are even so well done that they become famous in Finland. With there being about 17 different guilds in the University of Tampere, we had about 2 hours of footage to go through, and with going through all that Jäynä, there were a few pranks that were actually quite creative and those that were actually quite simple. But overall, they were actually incredibly entertaining, and I did laugh a lot at a few of them. One of which specifically, apart from the one in the footage being shown, was one where they tricked people into doing yoga with them, and one of them being the fact that they had a bowl full of rocks, which they said was something special, but it was just rocks off the side of the road, and told them to scream into it. Overall, that was probably the funniest one that I've seen, apart from, again, the one being shown in the background, which just made a lot of people laugh. Overall, it was quite an enjoyable experience, and definitely something I would recommend for anybody that comes around the time of the year that I am. After we were finished, we decided to go to Subway and get a bite to eat, and then afterwards head to the forest behind Noah's apartment where he lives, which is incredibly big, and we actually finally got lost in it before managing to find our way back. It was a quite interesting place and able for me to get a lot of good footage through my walk, and overall it was actually very beautiful.
Yeah. This cultists, they own the forest. Observe. That's a cultist hole. They might be in there. So don't put any limbs in there. They might get stabbed or something. Unless you want to.
To which after we had some good food, my compliments to the chef of course, and then after that decided to do a little bit more sewing to make sure that I have some more stamps on my jacket.